Namaste, I am Shiva Swati and this week's video is on relationships. Relationships are very important in life because your whole attitude to life, whether it is negative or it is positive, is dependent on your relationships. If you have good relationships in life, you will realize that you are automatically positive, and if you have bad relationships, you are automatically negative. Relationships are very important in repaying your karmic debt from past life. Suppose you have been a warrior and you felt guilty about killing several innocent people. Then you might have a relationship in your next life with a mother who is very abusive and whom you cannot escape. And each time that she scolds you or abuses you, you are hit the same way as you have killed someone. So 1,000 emotional deaths can make up for 100 physical deaths or more, or 10,000 emotional deaths can make up for the 100 physical deaths, depending on how hurt you feel each time that you are abused by your mother. The same relationships, if you are unable to forgive yourself and you continue to react instead of forgiving or detaching from the abuse, if you continue to react and you hit back, then the game of revenge continues, and it's as if the soul feels that you are not guilty for killing all those people and you are not allowing yourself to get killed, and you are reacting, you are taking revenge. So your soul continues the same pattern in your marriages. If you are very abused by your mother, for instance, and you do not heal yourself, you do not learn how to become positive, you will have a very abusive life partner. Simply because by the law of attraction, you will attract the same energies which you have been living with. It happens automatically. Till you are reacting internally to the abuse, you are attracting the same vibration in your life. You have to learn not to react internally, even if you have to defend yourself at an external level. You have to learn how to detach from that abuse internally so that it does not affect your vibrational positivity and it does not make you negative. This would happen normally after your karmic debt is repaid, in the sense that you have been killed emotionally as much as you have killed physically. Normally a spiritual awakening happens when your karmic debt is repaid and your soul feels that now you are ready for spreading positivity in your own life and in the life of others. Till your soul forgives itself, a spiritual awakening does not happen. To create a forgiveness and for allowing the spiritual awakening to happen, you have to forgive your abuser. When you forgive your abuser, even without condoning their behavior, for example, you are being scolded since childhood for things which you did not do, where you are being misunderstood all the time. So it is very difficult to forgive that behavior, but you can detach from it and not abuse your parents or your mother or your sister or your brother for it. When you detach, you are no longer internally negative and you can move towards being positive. If you don't detach, you continue to suffer. Suffering will continue till you forgive yourself at a soul level. To forgive yourself at a soul level, you will have to be aware that your karma is repaid. Normally, past life therapy is required with several people simply to make them aware that the karma is repaid. They have suffered over lifetimes for being a warrior or an assassin in one life, and because they have suffered over a lifetime, they have killed again and again, and then they are suffering, continuing to suffer in the present life as well. So past life therapy makes you understand why your present life is so traumatic, and that you have to rise to being positive from within for your trauma to end. It is not enough that the people around you change, because people around you are not going to change just because you wish them to change. People around you suddenly will not become positive because you're asking God to make them positive. they have to vibrationally become positive with their own awareness. And if you are suffering because of their abuse, it means that you have somewhere killed them in a previous life, and they have cursed you that you will suffer, and you have absorbed the curse within yourself. In a past life therapy session, we remove such curse, we remove oaths which make you suffer. For example, I had a session recently with a person who was in love with a woman, and he was unable to express it, and the problems were coming one after another for several years. And it was found that he had the same problem over 3 past lives. And it was happened because in the past life, around 2000 years ago, he had taken an oath that I am going to war now, and if I win this war, then I will marry. He did not win the war, he died in war. He never married her. In the next life, he did not marry her, he was a commoner. The same man killed her, was her father, and he threatened to kill him because he did not like the boy. So the girl refused to marry him. In the third life again, he could not marry her because that other man was the girl's husband, and he killed them both. So but when we removed this oath, and then we said that irrespective of the results of war, I will find love and marry, then he calmed down, his energies relaxed, and then he could rescript the life that he could marry her in every life, and that man's actions did not affect him. And of course, this is one session, and 2000 years are healed in one session. So you need regular meditation after that for your inner thinking to change and for this to manifest. In some people, there is a catharsis and it instantly manifests. But most people who are spiritual, but most people need meditation after past life therapy, because the habit of thinking which is negative over 2000 years cannot go overnight, because in one session you have this realization, but that realization changes your filament and you start becoming positive, because you have that realization that it was an oath which was making you negative. And when you remove the oath from your DNA, from your subconscious mind, you can become positive. So family relationships, like a girl who was with a father who wanted to kill her boyfriend. Another session I had where the girl's mother murdered her boyfriend. I've had another client who cannot get married because her mother is extremely possessive, and she has killed her lover in previous lifetimes when she was a queen. So now she is a commoner, but since the same pattern continues, that the mother refuses to let her marry, and whenever she attempts to marry, there is an attack on the person's life, as if spirits are attacking and there is some kind of problem or the other. And these attacks continue because the man is not spiritually aware, and till the mother is alive, she cannot get married. So a past life therapy gave her the realization that she does not need to distress, that she is unable to get married because it is because of a karmic pattern with her mother. And she had also taken an oath as a monk that she will never get married, which was also released in the session. But later the karmic pattern with the mother developed, and since she is the only daughter and the mother is a widow, she has to live with her till the mother is alive. And marriage is a problem, because whenever there is an attempt to marry, the mother says something or does something because of which there is a breakup. So you cannot blame the mother, because she is attuned to that lifetime when the girl was a queen, and she was preventing the queen from getting married to a commoner, because those were the rituals in those days. And the mother is subconsciously acting on the same principles. She has to detach from her mother enough spiritually to not get affected by her, and be peaceful irrespective of whether she can get married or not, because attacks are external, and just changing your vibration will not stop them. You can attempt to get married, be very positive, but you will have to keep yourself detached from these verbal attacks or abusive attacks, so that there is no breakup. If you cannot be sure of that, it is better to avoid marriage, or simply live in, because external people can easily ruin your marriage. Similarly, a lot of girls these days have been coming with problems of incest, where the man was their husband, the father was their husband in a previous life, or the brother was a husband in a previous life, and they feel sexual maneuvers towards them. They feel that they are being attacked sexually, and when they say this to the mother denies it. Mother is normally very abusive in these situations, that or even if the mother is supportive, she does not understand where are these suspicions coming from, because it is a past life where you were the man's wife, and usually these are past lives where the man has been abusive to the wife, and she has revenge against him, and then she comes back as his daughter because he has to pay back karma to her. But while paying back karma financially and looking after her needs, he is still abusive, he is still taunting. He may be very mild to her, but in his body language, he is still dismissive of her, because and then she might feel sexual vibes coming from him because of the spirit which was married to her in a past life. So in these cases, we do energy cord cutting, and we do a lot of inner child healing and past life therapy, so that she can be detached from the father and live a peaceful life, and probably find a lover or get married. Or marriage becomes difficult if you have been having a difficult relationship with your parents, especially your father, because the law of attraction is set at negative. You've always had a negative relationship with a man, and then the same thing repeats in a marriage. So till you can change your law of attraction to positive, with the realization that the man with whom you have lived since childhood may have been your husband in a past life, and that is why the sexual connotations were negative always for you. When you see this in a past life, and then you change your filament to positive through therapy, and then you start meditating towards creating positive circles in your life. After that, when you are at a higher level of positivity, then you should think of marriage. Otherwise, you should be focusing on a live-in relationship, or somewhere where you are not bound. But even if you get married and in a negative frame of mind, you can always become positive after marriage, and you can allow the marriage to continue. Otherwise, if you cannot tolerate the marriage and you have problems sexually after getting married, you would need to divorce, and you should allow that. If two partners do not get along sexually and are very abusive to each other, and they feel emotionally also non-supported in a marriage, there is a death at least of one partner. Now, if you feel emotionally and physically disconnected from your spouse and you do not allow divorce, internally you are resistant to divorce, you can die. You can die of cancer, of heart attack, any reason. Because your soul wants a divorce, but your mind is not permitting a divorce. It can be because of your family circumstances. It can be because your parents are against the divorce. Whatever the reason might be, if your marriage is not sexually and physically compatible, at least it should be compatible in some aspect. You should have some support somewhere. If you are totally feeling non-supported, then a death or divorce are most likely. If you are old, you can welcome death and go into a younger body. But if you are young and you have hope to live on, you should agree for divorce and find a way to earn your living with all the financial problems which divorce brings. So family relationships are extremely crucial in your ability to develop positive thinking. Till you are aware that you are in a situation because of your karmic debt, you will allow the negative people in your family to influence you and make you negative, and you will stop liking yourself, and you will blame yourself simply because your mother or father blame you all the time. Whereas this is happening probably because very often you are born to a mother who was your father's mistress in a previous life, or she was his wife and you came in as the mistress. This is very common, and then the mother is very abusive to you. If you are a woman, and as a man also, sometimes the mother is very abusive to you. If you left her for another woman, she was your mistress and you left her for another woman, or you left her for his wife, or you killed her in a past life. In all these cases, you will have a mother who is very abusive, and each time she is abusing, it will really hit you, especially if you have a life of suicide. It's going to hit you very badly, because people who have committed suicide, they are extremely sensitive to emotional hurts by other people. Suicide does not end your life trauma. You go into another body where you're even more sensitive than you were when you committed suicide, and your trauma increases multifold. When you go for past life therapy, you release your spirit of suicide. You realize that you have done something wrong to your mother in her perception, and that is why she is bad to you. The same case holds for the father. And so you have to forgive. When you forgive the abuser, then you forgive your own spirit for doing that bad thing, and you get forgiveness from the abuser. Means the spirit will forgive you, and you will get forgiveness in your present life. It is a very complex process. Past life therapy is extremely complex. I usually have limited it to 3 hours because it moves in speed. We do not allow you to think for more than 1 minute, because we want the impressions coming up of what your past lives are. We do not allow you to make stories. It is instant. And you see 4 to 5 lifetimes, or at least 3 lifetimes in 3 hours, or if it's a 5-hour session, you will see 6 or 7 lifetimes. So and it's a pattern. You kill someone in first life, then you kill someone in the second life, and you kill someone in the third life, or you are killed by that person, and finally there is one life very much back, very a long time ago, where you find the root cause of that whole pattern. For example, I had a client recently who had seeking to find his life purpose, and it was found in his session that he had enmity with a person in the Stone Ages. After that, he had lived several lifetimes, and he had a mild psychosis in this lifetime. He could hear voices in head and spirits attacking him, and that was because his previous life was that of a tantric, and he had used spirits for getting power, because he was very bitter. And he was very bitter because he had been poisoned by someone when he was very young, and he was made very bitter. And that person who had poisoned him was a man in 3,000 years ago, who had a land feud with him, and he wanted they were very poor. I mean, people were not rich then, and he had a lot of land with himself, this tribal man, and another person wanted to share his land, and he had refused. So after that, there was a feud, and that man was killed. Later, this man was also killed, and he could not achieve his purpose of life, which was to give his daughter a very good life. So that same purpose carried 3,000 years later, and the girl is a son now, and that man is his father-in-law. But he was also the person who poisoned him in a previous life, so he has to pay back karma, and probably he has given his daughter so that the karma can be paid back and support. But the realization was that when he re-scripted, he shared the land with that man, and he allowed him to live. When he shared the land and allowed him to live, then he could re-script the life, and he was no longer given poison, and he could release the spirits. So psychosis does not completely go with therapy, but through meditation it can be controlled. And if you have been a tantric in a past life, you are attacked, or a sannyasi in a past life, you will contact spirits, and you will have to release them. Past life therapy helps you contact them and release some very dominating spirits, but you have to do meditation on a regular basis to be completely free of spirits. And if you have been a tantric, meditation in the present life is very difficult for you, because you are used to quick results, and meditation is slow. However, in relationships, you have to realize that the person whom you feel is abusive is someone, it can be your mother or your father, it is someone who is taking revenge from you, and that is why you do not need to feel underconfident or inferior or wrong every time that person blames you. And that person might simply be blaming you simply to get power from you. You may not be wrong at all. So you when you realize this, you need to do processes like energy cord cutting and detaching yourself from that person, making your aura bigger than that person. I'm making so these processes I will explain. I'm making this app called Emotional Management on Class Plus. It will be in the Play Store, and I will slowly start adding exercises. Uh, they are all in the books, and past life therapy is of course the best way out. But every day doing past life therapy obviously is not possible. Even I do a past life session in 3 days. When I'm working with clients, I don't take a session every day. It's very tiring. So and you need to release spirits for almost 2 days to restore back your strength to do another session. So you need short exercises which you can do on a daily basis to overcome problems and relationships in the present life. And so I'm making some specific exercises which will be there in the app on emotional management, and the logo has Shiva Swati on it, so you can recognize the app. But these exercises will help you overcome the trauma in relationships and learn how to be positive on a daily basis. Every day you will learn how to be positive, and when you become positive on a daily basis, you start attracting positivity and peacefulness in your life by the law of attraction. Till you are positive internally, you cannot attract positivity. You have to be positive internally to attract happiness in your life and maintain it. You might get married and you might be very happy, but if you have been negative till now, the euphoria is going to last for a week or a month, and again you are going to go back to being negative, because you need meditation, continuous focusing of your energies to make yourself positive from within, which is a difficult process. That is why I am uploading these exercises on emotional management. And you can go to any spiritual healer, or you can take several exercises on YouTube which make you positive. Even face yoga is very useful in making you positive. People have healed their migraines and sinus with face yoga, because that touches every organ of your body which are connected to the face, and they relax your whole body. Yoga exercises help you become neutral. Naturopathy helps you become neutral. Being neutral is higher than being negative. When you are at a zero frequency, you are no longer negative, and again from a zero frequency you can move to a positive frequency. But from a negative frequency you cannot jump to a positive frequency, because you have to be neutral to balance the shift of emotions. Otherwise, from positive you will fall lower at a lower negative, and then you will again have to rise to a lesser negative, then to zero, and then be positive. So for maintaining positivity on a regular basis, you need to do intermittent positive thinking exercises with neutral thinking exercises. So when you are neutral, you can keep saying the whole day, thank you God, I feel so blessed, thank you God for making me healthy, thank you God that there is electricity in my house, thank you God there is food on the table. You can keep thanking God and feel neutral the whole day, and you can do some positive thinking exercises which create cycles of positivity in your life. 25% of life will still remain negative. You have to cope up with that negativity. It is like day and night. So when you are on earth, 25% of your life remains negative. It is your karmic debt. When your karmic debt is completely clear, you die. You cannot live longer. So you will have some loans, you will have some problems, some health problems, which will hold you in a body, and the negativity will balance the positivity, like magnetism with the electric impulses of the spirit are held by the magnetism in the body. Otherwise the spirit will not stay in a body. So the magnetism has glue which makes you vibrate at a lower frequency in some spots, so that your spirit sticks to the body through those negative areas. There is desire left in life, and karma is left, and you stay alive. So that is why family relationships will never be totally positive. There will be negativity, because family relationships are something which you cannot leave. They are blood bonds. You can leave a wife, you can leave a husband, but your children, your parents, your sisters, your siblings, you can never really leave. These are karmic relationships. They are meant to help your soul evolve. If you become negative, you will have to redo the lesson till you become positive over a period of lifetime. So it is better to learn to be positive in the present life through meditation and other healing processes with awareness to rise to a higher positive level. Thank you. Please share, like, and subscribe.